Today we're going to be teaming up with Shimano Pro staffers Justin Poe and Ted Sakai and showing you exactly how to make your connections and tie knots for going from Power Pro to monofilament and Power Pro to fluorocarbon. There are only a few go-to knots that we recommend, including the Double Uni, the Albright, and the Bob Sands. So let's join Justin and Ted and take the mystery out of making Power Pro knots and connections. Proudly brought to you by Shimano, makers of the finest fishing tackle in the world. Fish with the best. Fish Shimano. And by Power Pro. Experience the Power Pro advantage. Power Pro. Proven power.
Due to the unique characteristics of Power Pro, we really wanted to share with you 4 or 5 different connections to go from Power Pro to monofilament or Power Pro to fluorocarbon. These really should be your go-to knots. And there's only 4 or 5 of them. They're pretty basic. We want to show you them right now. We're going to start by showing you the Double Uni. It really should be your go-to knot. You want to start by taking about 10 or 12 inches of Power Pro and doubling it up. And you lay that parallel to the fluorocarbon, and then you basically make a loop in the Power Pro and pull it back through itself 4 times. 1, 2, a couple more there. Okay, there's 4. Now you're going to want to take and pull that down onto the fluorocarbon fairly tight, but not super tight. You just kind of want to snug it up so it doesn't walk around there. Now you take and work towards the other end and make a loop in the fluorocarbon over both strands of spectra. Do the same thing. 4, 3, one more time there for Ted. And you're going to want to take and snug that down. And again, you don't have to pull it super tight, but you just want to snug it down. Now, one thing you want to do here, before you snug it up super tight, you don't want to wet it down. We're not going to do that here because we don't want to watch, we don't want to watch Ted lick the line here. But basically, you take and snug it up to where it butts up against each other, and then you do it really gently. And then after that, you really pull really taut. Give yourself a couple wraps around your hands before you pull it too tight. Pull gently, but with a good pressure. And from there, you can see where your tag ends are. You can take and cut your tag ends. First, you want to cut the loop of Power Pro. And you take and you can cut your single strands of Power Pro and your strand of fluorocarbon. And you want to cut them pretty tight. That way, they're pretty tight and they're not that obstructive going through the guides. But basically, that is your Double Uni connection from Power Pro to fluorocarbon.
Fish with the best. Power Pro and Hollow Ace, the finest braided micro. Proven power.
Due to the unique characteristics of Power Pro, we really wanted to share with you 4 or 5 different connections to go from Power Pro to monofilament or Power Pro to fluorocarbon. These really should be your go-to knots. And there's only 4 or 5 of them. They're pretty basic. We want to show you them right now. Now with the Albright, you want to start by making a loop in the fluorocarbon. And from here, you want to reach through, put the Power Pro up through the loop. You want to make sure pull 10, 12 inches back. And then you can reach down the fluorocarbon and pinch the line there. Then you start wrapping the Power Pro black. You want to do anywhere from 12 to 30 times. Really depends on, it's like a personal preference. For me, it's 20 to 30. For friends of mine, they do just as few as 12, and it's just a matter of what you're comfortable with. Ted can really tie this knot in his sleep, blindfolded backwards. But for demonstration's sake, we're slowing it down here a little bit. You're just going to wrap it back, 12, 15 times.
How tight are you keeping the loops there?
He's wanting to make sure to keep them really tight to where they're not so loose that they don't wrap over top of themselves. He wants to keep them side by side, and he's really just making it tight enough for that. Now he takes the tag in, puts it back down through the loop in the fluorocarbon because the first time he came up through the fluorocarbon, so that keeps it basically locked together. Now he can let go of that loop and let go of that line and let that line kind of walk back towards that doubled loop of fluorocarbon. And then from there, he drops the tag lines and pulls the standing line to where it basically just sucks up that Power Pro onto that loop of fluorocarbon and locks it in there. Now after he's comfortable getting it tied down there, and usually you really want to moisten this knot. It's not that important for for the Power Pro, but for the fluorocarbon, you tend to burn it with too much friction, pulling too much tension down there. So on your monofilament and fluorocarbon, you really want to make sure to moisten it. Now from here, he's going to tie a 3-turn lock, basically as a bumper to protect the knot on the backside from when it goes through the guides and things like that. So it just makes a big loop, and then comes back through 3 times, and then he's going to pull tension back to pull it back down the line and snug it up gently against the back of the knot itself. And it takes a little practice getting this to line up right, but Ted's got it down there, as you can see. Tightens it up pretty snug, and then he's going to want to trim off all those tag lines as tight to the knot as he can get.